So a few weeks ago I started this low-known manga called Sunken Rock because everyone can't seem to stop recommending it. I was really in the mood for a serious crime story and picked this one up as soon as I got a good look at the art. It seemed right up my alley, and it was. The art is super gorgeous, the first chapter does a great job in setting the tone and has a pretty cool fight, but everything slowly spirals out of control. But before that, let's talk about the basic premise. The story follows a guy called Kitano Ken that immediately gets rejected as soon as you start the first chapter. His crush has decided on going to Korea to become a policewoman, so Ken does the same thing. In Korea, however, things don't go according to plan and he becomes a gang boss instead. It's a really basic plot. The former leader Taiso practically hands him the reins and is like, here, the story starts now. But honestly, I don't mind it. The amazing art and that Saints Row like story of populating the gang and capturing different parts of the city was just so delicious that I didn't really pay much attention to anything else. But something you realize pretty early on, which is gonna sound a bit weird, is that Sunken Rock doesn't have a healthy view towards its female characters, and I ain't talking about the fan service of having a couple of booty shots here and there. No, I'm talking about how literally every single female character that gets announced here either gets raped, tortured, or drops on her knees demanding our main character's. It's honestly really disgusting and it severely affected my reading experience in the first half at least, but that alone wasn't the major head. Everything is just a jumbled mess most of the time. The characters goof around in serious situations, half of them don't even have a character to begin with. Mostly the manga throws you layers of boring text and then a cool fight at the end, but you can't enjoy the fight because you don't care about the characters, and you don't care about the characters because the manga doesn't give you a reason to care. Honestly, the fights would have been more enjoyable if just taken out of context in some other form instead of sitting through the painful and unimaginative storytelling in the beginning. But then, in chapter 78 or so, something strange happens. And that is when Sunken Rock gets good. Immediately, you see one of the strongest people in the story get absolutely destroyed by an assassin. Bro, this guy is no joke. He nearly beat Ken himself. It gets even worse, however, when the assassin sent there says he's not even the strongest one in his group, that there are far faster and more capable fighters compared to him, who all share the same goal: raising hell in the city and putting an end to Sunken Rock once and for all. The situation is dire, no one knows who these people are, and then Do Hyun nearly dies. The group is in a disarray, Pickaxe just fucking packs up and leaves, and no one believes in Ken anymore. That's how you set up a gripping narrative. There are no panty shots, no one thirsting over Ken's dick, there are no needless jokes, it's just a well thought out setup. And then it follows that whole thing with the most legendary chase scene in all of manga. That chase scene, that fucking chase scene, man. I was listening to JoJo Part 5's OST for that shit because, gangsters, and it clicked hard. I didn't even know Part 5 has so many high tension tracks. It's honestly a testament to how great it is. And then suddenly, the man behind it all, Ban Huang, this demon, this monster, this Goliath that we've been hearing about all this time, finally appears, and it is the most jaw-dropping, exciting thing I've ever witnessed in manga. And right then and there stand two dragons that will change the fate of the universe. It's breathtaking. We'll talk about how this fight breaks out, but Marine is a lot more important right now. By this time, Marine is just a badass looking character we followed from the beginning. He is the least standing out member of the bunch, and I think that was intentional. His design is nothing special. He wears a black suit, has a simple haircut, and we rarely see him fight because he's Tai Kim's shadow, sworn to protect the second in command at all times. So when you find out that this ambush was actually predicted by Tai Kim, and that he knew the enemy forces might outweigh and kill him, and that he tells Marine to not interfere with his death and follow the group to their hideout as his last command, it's heartbreaking. Honestly, I got teary-eyed while writing the script. Sunken Rock goes from a manga who had no identity or anything meaningful really, to a masterpiece in a matter of chapters. And this train just keeps on going. The abandoned building afterwards, hands down, has some of the best fights in manga. Suddenly, when you're interested in the actual plot and the characters get a bit more fleshed out than simply being the dumb one or the big one, you're suddenly paying so much more attention to everything and having a grand time. Just look at these panels, man. The spacing, the movement, the emotion behind each punch and kick is just mwah. And honestly, do I really need to talk about Ken versus Ban Huang? The whole thing has 3 stage changes and it was legendary. I could honestly go on forever, but all I'm saying is if you've been rightfully frustrated in the beginning chapters and called the manga trash, I totally understand. I had a whole meltdown on Reddit because of it, but Sunken Rock proves that it's so much more than that. The concept of living your life for the sake of someone else, or bearing the pain of hurting someone you love to protect them, wasn't the themes I was expecting to tackle when I picked this thing up. Sunken Rock ended up being so much more than that video gamey pure action series I was expecting, and for that, it's really worth it. Oh, for fuck's sake.